watching CBS 8 Mornings at 6.
So glad you're with us here on this Friday. It's 6 a.m. I'm Eric Connert.
And I'm Neda Irampoya. Thank you for starting off your Friday with us and getting ready for the weekend. Weather-wise, let's see what we can expect. Meteorologist Vanessa Baz filling in for Evan this morning. It's been so mild. I mean, I think zero complaints, right?
Even a little cool overnight with the windows open.
Yeah, I mean, my sweaters have been collecting a little bit of dust in the closet, and now I could finally take them out. We're looking at sweater weather, at least if you're sensitive to the 60s like I am. Yeah, you can bust out those sweaters, at least for the first half of the weekend until things start to warm up next week. Taking a look at our satellite and radar composite as we get your Friday going. We are looking at those clouds spilling well into the valleys, but you can actually see that we're starting to see some partial clearing, specifically just south of the 78 west of Ramona. That's where we're seeing a little break from those clouds, but overall it's pretty widespread when we talk about how expansive from the coast towards the foothill communities we're seeing those clouds push in. All right, good morning from La Jolla. This is from our UCSD La Jolla Skycam. Current temperatures right now are in the 60s and visibility for the most part in pretty good shape. All right, at 6:01, let's go ahead and take a look at your roads as we switch gears over to the freeway shot. This is the 805 right at Home Avenue. Right side of your screen is at Northbound Drive as you pass Home Avenue, making your way towards the 15 connector. Look out for this crash, 94 West right at Euclid. That could slow things down for you if you're coming in from Lemon Grove. And we're also seeing reports of a brush fire on the 5 North at SeaWorld Drive. That's near Bayho, the Bay Park area. Fire crews are reportedly blocking the slow lane. So again, if you're headed on the 5 North anywhere near the 8 SeaWorld Drive, you may run into some minor slowing. All right, as we go ahead and zoom on out and take a look at our speeds, specifically in the South Bay, anywhere between 65 to 70 miles per hour. We're now a little slow and go southbound, and that's on the 125 as you make your way in from Santee. Neda and Eric, back to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Vanessa. And now, new this morning, sadly, 2 people are dead after this crash at the intersection of Poway Road and Sabre Springs Parkway.
Yeah, this happened just after midnight, and San Diego police say an 18-year-old woman driving a motorcycle eastbound on Poway Road collided with another car making a left-hand turn. The motorcyclist died at the scene. The 72-year-old driver later died at the hospital.
This morning, San Diego Unified School District officials, they're getting ready to address an incident that happened near one of its schools.
The district says a parent was arrested by ICE agents yesterday while waiting near Linda Vista Elementary. CBS 8's Chris Grove live outside the school now with everything we know at this hour. Chris?
Yeah, and we should confirm that. This allegedly did not happen on school campus inside of the gates. This allegedly happened off campus while the parent was waiting to pick up their child, but it did occur during hours of pickup time. So again, this is an incident that was witnessed by, allegedly, according to the school district and according to the school's principal, by other parents that were waiting for their children as well too. They saw ICE agents take this person into custody. Not much is known about their current status right now, just that they were again taken into custody. This happening around 3:10 p.m. witnessed by multiple families. Now, we're going to be hearing from the school district later on today. That'll be happening at 9 a.m. here. We've also heard from them in the weeks leading up to the first week of school, because there has been so much talk about what are the policies that protect students, that protect parents, protect schools when it comes to immigration enforcement. That's something that we heard from School Board Vice President Richard Barrera here with San Diego Unified talking about. He told us that the policies are that no federal immigration official is allowed onto a school campus without proof of a judicial warrant, and that no immigration official has access to student records without proof of a judicial warrant. Here's more from Barrera.
Many years, schools were considered safe havens by the federal government, meaning they were off limits to immigration enforcement. And of course, that's how it should be.
Now, this sort of, again, matches something else that happened, but in a different school district. This at Chula Vista Elementary School District, Enrique Camarena Elementary School, where last week there was a parent that was taken into custody. That person, according to ICE, had been ordered to have been deported back in 2022, according to ICE. Not clear if, again, what the situation and circumstances surrounding the parent in this case are. We did reach out to ICE. Still waiting to hear back from them. As soon as we do hear back, we'll be sure to update that part of the story. For now, we'll send things back to you, Eric and Neda.
Okay, Chris, thank you very much for the update there. A St. Augustine High School teacher charged with distributing child pornography is expected in court today after his hearing was delayed now a second time. According to his LinkedIn page, 27-year-old Ryan Segura has worked for the past 4 years as a religion teacher at the school in North Park. Court records show the investigation started when agents arrested a man in Denver in September last year. They searched that man's cell phone and allegedly found text messages between both men. It is unclear why he was hospitalized after his arrest. Segura now faces a maximum sentence of 20 years if convicted. A North County babysitter who admitted to taking part with her boyfriend in molesting multiple young girls in her care has now been sentenced. 100 years to life in prison for this woman, Brittany Lyon. She advertised her services online, specifically targeting special needs children between ages 3 and 7. Prosecutors say the now 31-year-old drugged and abused the victims alongside her boyfriend, Samuel Cabrera, who is currently serving 8 life sentences without the possibility of parole, plus an additional 300 years in prison. The couple was arrested in 2016 after one of the victims told their mother about the abuse.
In international news, right now, President Donald Trump is on his way to Anchorage, Alaska for a highly anticipated meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin. The goal of the discussion, finding a way to reach peace in Ukraine. It's been nearly 3.5 years since Russia launched a full-scale invasion. President Trump said he hopes these talks lead to a possible follow-up meeting, including Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky. Zelensky says he was not invited to today's talks. CBS News will carry a special report when the meeting begins today. Let's chat baseball now. Right now, the Padres, look at this, getting ready to head to Los Angeles for a highly anticipated matchup with the Dodgers. As you see here, the Padres are defending their 1-game lead in the National League West. Their rivals will be playing at 7:10 tonight. Some not so good news for the Padres pitcher Michael King has been placed on the 15-day injured list due to left knee inflammation. He had just returned from a right shoulder nerve injury that kept him out from May until August 9th. Randy Vasquez has been called up from AAA El Paso as a result. You can watch tomorrow's game on the CW San Diego. Our coverage starts at 5:30 p.m. And we will be giving away a family 4-pack of Padres tickets later this hour. Plus, one grand prize winner will receive a VIP Padres experience. So be sure to stay tuned for the code word.
Yes, let's get you those tickets. We have 2 more, today and next Friday, and that's it. So get that code word in. Let's check in now, weather-wise. We know the game's in L.A., Dodger Stadium for now. So what can we expect if people are heading up there?
I'll actually have that hour-by-hour forecast in a second once we transition out of this graphic. This is a live look. Let's go ahead and start things there. It's close to 6:10. Oh, we switched gears. This is what you can expect at Dodger Stadium over the next 12 hours. It has us in the 80s, so if you're headed up to LA near the Echo Park area, it's going to be very warm. We're talking low 80s this afternoon, but once we get towards first pitch, which I believe is at 7:10, temperatures will eventually drop down to the mid 70s and then into the 60s once we get to the 8-9 o'clock hour when we're talking about sundown. So again, if you're sensitive to the 60s like I am, I would just bring a light sweater maybe, but overall we're looking at a pretty mild night ahead in Los Angeles as we rode on our Padres. All right, taking a look at your weather headlines. This is facing the water. We're still looking at overcast conditions. We are seeing a break from those clouds, especially the farther from the coast that you're hanging out this morning. Here's a quick look at weather headlines as we say adios to the work week and hello to the weekend. We will run cooler than normal into at least the first half. Then Sunday is our transition day into a warming pattern that will take over next week. So clouds will be stubborn to clear along the coast. We've seen that since yesterday. And we're expecting high surf, not as high as we saw over the past couple of days, but it's still going to be pretty high, especially if you're inexperienced. We're under that moderate rip current risk. Low tide will be aimed just before 8:30 this morning and high tide just before 3:30 later on this afternoon. All right, here's what's happening aloft at 500 millibars. We have this trough of low pressure tapping into an atmospheric river, and we're seeing a drought-stricken Pacific Northwest this over the past couple of months, so they desperately need rain. rain, and that's exactly what they'll see in the coming days. We do have a weak trough of low pressure that's going to usher in some cooler air, and that will be settling over California. And we're looking at that cooler air to be prominent for the first half of the weekend. Second half is when we start to feel that warming as that ridge of high pressure kind of nudges a little more west. So here's what it looks like in terms of numbers. For the coastal areas, we'll be in the high 60s, low 70s starting this weekend. And for the inland valleys, we'll be mostly in the high 70s. Very cool for this time of the year. And then we're finally back in the 80s by the latter part of the weekend. All right, it is 6:10. Let's go ahead and see what's happening on your freeways. This is 6th Avenue right at the 5 freeway. Coming at your screen is a drive as you head towards downtown through the curves. We have this crash that we're still tracking that could slow things down for you if you're headed out of the Lemon Grove neighborhood. Meanwhile, we are still tracking somewhat normal speeds if you're headed out of the South Bay, anywhere between 65, 70 miles per hour. All is well out of Chula Vista and National City. Same deal if you're traveling in from Santee as well as the Mesa. I'm not tracking any major crashes nor delays. And if you're traveling out of Oceanside this morning, average speeds about 65 miles per hour, about 75 in from the Escondido area. Here's a quick look at your drive times. If you're coming in from Chula Vista or National City headed northbound, you're averaging about 10 to 15 minutes. Full drive across the Coronado Bridge in from downtown the Barrio Logan area towards a toll booth will take you just under 5 minutes. Average speeds about 45 miles per hour. 5 to 7 minutes is what we're averaging for those drives headed westbound. That includes the 94, the 8, as well as the 52. And if you're traveling in from the North County, no major issues as of last check. About 10 to nearly 30 minutes for those southbound drives in from Encinitas and Escondido. If you're traveling in from San Marcos towards Oceanside via the 78 West, you're looking at an easy 15-minute drive. All right, it's Friday. Let's go ahead and pull up those border wait times and see what you're dealing with. About an hour, 45 minutes, I should say, in from San Ysidro's port of entry. And if you're traveling in from Otay Mesa's port of entry this morning, it'll take you just under 20 minutes. All right, speaking of the border, we have a very important traffic update if you're headed south on the 5 this weekend. This Sunday specifically, Caltrans will be closing the Camino de la Plaza exit ramp for construction. That is the last USA exit. So if you're headed south this weekend, Sunday, and you want to stay in the U.S., you'll have to get off earlier at the Via de San Ysidro Boulevard exit. And that closure will be taking place this Sunday between 9 p.m. up until 6 a.m. on Monday.